Welcome to our channel. Today we will be talking about Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren, the tall, dark, and stunning Italian actress, epitomizes Hollywood royalty. However, her life was far from a fairy tale. Behind her captivating smile lay hidden stories of a traumatic childhood and a complicated love life. While married, Loren found herself drawn to the irresistible charm of Cary Grant. One day, Grant shocked her in an unexpected way, leaving her unsure of how to respond. Overwhelmed, she fled to Greece, only to face a heartbreaking revelation upon her arrival. Despite countless challenges, Loren rose to become a Hollywood icon. Along the way, she endured difficult encounters with some of Tinseltown's most troublesome leading men. Her romantic life revolved around two men deeply in love with her, both eager to spend their lives by her side. Yet, their relationships were plagued by obstacles, including secret marriages and even the threat of prison. In the end, only one man would win her heart, while the other was left heartbroken. Stay tuned for the full story. Sophia was born in 1934 in Italy. Her father, Riccardo Ciccoloni Murillo, abandoned her and her mother, leaving them without any financial support. Throughout her life, Sophia only met her father 3 times. Once she became famous, she had no interest in maintaining a relationship with the man who had deserted her. As a child, Sophia was tall and very thin, which led neighborhood children to tease her relentlessly, calling her the toothpick. However, their mockery wouldn't last forever. Sophia's life took a dramatic turn when she was 15. One summer, she and her friends were in Rome looking for something fun to do. They decided to participate in the Miss Italia pageant. While Sophia was chatting with her friends, a stranger approached their table and handed her a note. The note was from Carlo Ponti, one of the pageant judges. He had noticed Sophia and was captivated by her beauty. Ponti urged her to enter the contest, convinced she had what it took to stand out. Most teenage girls would have been frightened by sudden attention from a strange middle-aged man. But Sophia was different. Her mother had always told her she was destined to shine, and now it was her chance to prove it. At just 15 years old, Sophia Ciccolone entered the 1950 Miss Italia pageant and won the title of Miss Elegance. For a teenage newcomer, placing second overall in the competition was quite an achievement. But this was only the beginning of her journey. Carlo Ponti wasn't just a pageant judge, he was also a film producer. Impressed by Sophia, he quickly cast her in a few of his films and suggested she change her name. From then on, she became known as Sophia Loren. With Ponti supporting her career, the possibilities seemed endless for the young and ambitious starlet. However, Ponti's interest in her wasn't entirely professional. While the significant age gap between them remained, their relationship evolved as Sophia matured. She has always insisted that their connection was purely platonic in the early years. But once she turned 19, their bond deepened, and they became romantically involved. Sophia Loren envisioned a future with Carlo Ponti, but it was far more complicated than she had hoped. Young and deeply in love, Loren dreamed of one thing: having a family. Having never forgiven her father for abandoning her, she longed for the stable family life she never experienced. However, this dream faced a major obstacle. Carlo Ponti had a secret. Ponti wasn't just decades older than Loren, he was also married with 2 children. Although estranged from his wife, he was still legally bound to her. Divorce was illegal in Italy at the time, making the legitimate family life Loren desired unattainable. Despite these challenges, Loren began to dream of something else: Hollywood. She started acting in Italian films at just 16 years old, and it didn't take long for her talent and beauty to draw international attention. The tall, striking young actress caught the eye of Hollywood executives, who competed fiercely to sign her. Paramount Pictures ultimately won, offering her a 5-picture deal that brought her to the glamour of Tinseltown. Although moving to Hollywood could have been overwhelming for a young woman from Italy, Loren was warmly embraced. Her contract with Paramount launched her career, and within a few years, she became a household name. Sophia Loren wasn't just an international film star, she was on her way to becoming the biggest actress in the world. Sophia Loren was a star who never expected anything to be handed to her. She earned her reputation through hard work. Between 1950 and 1955, she appeared in an incredible 35 films. At first, she loved the work, but maintaining such a hectic schedule eventually took its toll. One night, while lying in bed, Loren suddenly found herself unable to breathe. Panicked, she rushed to her doctor, fearing she had asthma, pneumonia, or something worse. The doctor quickly diagnosed her with a panic attack. The stress and anxiety from her relentless schedule had caught up with her. After that, she slowed down and never again took on such an intense workload in such a short amount of time. Shortly after Sophia Loren and Carlo Ponti arrived in America, Ponti obtained a Mexican divorce from his first wife and married Loren. It seemed as though their problems were finally behind them, and Loren could have the legitimate family she had always dreamed of. Unfortunately, this was not the case. Ponti discovered that both he and Loren were now considered fugitives in Italy. Italian authorities warned that if they returned to their homeland, they would be arrested immediately. This absurd situation forced Loren to live a lie for years. Despite their feelings for each other, Loren's relationship with Ponti remained in limbo, giving her time to let her eyes wander. One evening, Loren discovered she would be meeting none other than Frank Sinatra and Cary Grant at a Hollywood party. She found Sinatra to be charming and friendly, but Grant came across as rude and unpleasant. However, Hollywood is a small world, and it wasn't long before she crossed paths with Cary Grant again. As the 1950s transitioned into the 1960s, Sophia Loren's fame continued to soar. She worked on films in both Europe and America, earning admiration from audiences worldwide. Her career reached its pinnacle in 1964, when she received an astonishing $1 million paycheck for her role in the fall of the Roman Empire. By then, Sophia Loren had become the superstar her mother and Romilda Villani had always believed she could be. Despite her wealth and fame, Sophia Loren faced personal struggles. The most heartbreaking was her inability to have children. Although she became pregnant multiple times, each pregnancy ended in miscarriage. To make matters worse, the tabloids caught wind of her difficulties and began spreading rumors and speculations about her complicated pregnancies. Loren had to endure constant invasions of her privacy during what was already an emotionally painful time. Like many other actresses, Sophia Loren had her fair share of challenging co-stars. In 1960, she had the opportunity to star alongside one of Hollywood's most legendary actors, Clark Gable. Initially, she was in awe of him, but once filming began, her perception quickly changed. On the first day of shooting, everything seemed fine until 5 p.m., when Gable's watch alarm went off. He cheerfully said, "Bye-bye," and left the set, even though they hadn't finished filming. At first, Loren thought he might have an important appointment, but she soon learned this was his routine. Gable stopped work at 5 sharp, regardless of the circumstances. It became clear that while Loren was a hard-working rising star, Gable, despite his fame, preferred to follow his own rules. She found it disappointing. However, working with Clark Gable was nothing compared to her experience with Marlon Brando. During their time together at the Paramount lot, Brando struck the wrong note from the start. He barged into her dressing room, looked at the paintings she had hung on the walls, and bluntly declared, "You're sick, emotionally disturbed. You should see a psychiatrist." Not exactly the ideal way to begin a working relationship. Things only got worse on set. Before filming began, Brando approached Loren and stroked her back. She immediately told him, "Don't do that, I don't like it." But once the cameras were rolling, he repeated the gesture. Loren, visibly angry, turned to him and warned that she would slap him if he ever touched her again. From that point forward, their professional relationship was completely strained. Brando spoke poorly of Loren behind her back, claiming her breath smelled terrible from all the Italian food she ate, even comparing it to a dinosaur's. Working on the movie was unpleasant for both of them. When it was time to film their big kiss, Brando decided to play a prank on her. After their first kiss, Loren pulled away, startled. Brando had whispered something in her ear, and it was far from romantic. Loren stormed over to the crew after the first take and fumed, "Do you know what he just whispered to me? That I have long, long hair growing out of my nose." Unsurprisingly, that take was unusable, so the director made them redo it. Things only got worse. During their third and final kiss, Brando bit Loren's lips so hard that she started bleeding. Needless to say, they never worked together again. Remarkably though, Brando wasn't the most troubling co-star Loren encountered. That title belonged to Peter Sellers. When Sophia Loren agreed to star in The Millionaires, the studio approached the famous British comedian Peter Sellers for a role. Initially, he showed no interest, until he learned that Loren was part of the cast. Then, he eagerly signed on. At first, Sellers and Loren got along very well on set, and Loren believed their bond was strictly professional and friendly. She couldn't have been more mistaken. As filming progressed, Sellers became increasingly infatuated with her. Eventually, his obsession became impossible to contain. One evening, while out with both Loren and his wife, he openly declared his undying love for her in front of everyone. One night, he even woke his young son and asked him, "Do you think I should divorce your mommy?" A deeply traumatic question for any child, especially since Loren didn't even want to be with him. Some of Peter Sellers' friends, including comedian Spike Milligan, claimed that Sellers and Loren had a physical relationship. Others insisted they were nothing more than close friends. Even Sellers' wife never uncovered the truth, later admitting, "I don't know to this day whether he had an affair with her. Nobody knows." As for Sophia Loren, she has always maintained that nothing ever happened between her and Peter Sellers, despite his relentless advances over the years. However, her interactions with Cary Grant? That's a more complicated story. Loren first met Cary Grant at a Hollywood party hosted by Frank Sinatra, but his initial impression wasn't exactly stellar. He arrived 2 hours late, and when he finally spoke to her, made an offensive comment about her heritage, saying, "All Italians have strange names." Loren had expected the suave and sophisticated Cary Grant from the big screen, not a rude and unpunctual version of him. Still, first impressions don't always last. Over time, Grant began to upend Loren's worldview. Trapped in an unhappy third marriage, Grant was miserable. Loren, on the other hand, deeply loved Carlo Ponti, but their complicated legal situation left the future of their relationship uncertain. She began to wonder if Ponti could ever truly give her the family she longed for. Loren and Grant first worked together in the 1957 film The Pride and the Passion. Although their initial meeting was tense, they grew increasingly drawn to each other as they spent more time together. Grant opened up to Loren in ways she hadn't expected, even sharing his deepest, most personal secret with her. Grant confided in Loren about his painful past, revealing that his father had committed his mother to an insane asylum and lied to the family, claiming she had died. This level of vulnerability was something Loren had never encountered before. At the time, Cary Grant was married to screenwriter Betsy Drake, who had written a movie called Houseboat for herself, and Grant to star in together. Hoping the project might help their struggling marriage, Drake likely saw it as a way to reconnect. However, Grant had other plans. He demanded the studio rewrite Drake's role so that Sophia Loren could take the part instead. Sophia Loren was just 22 when her affair with Cary Grant began. She deeply loved Carlo Ponti, but her relationship with him was complicated. On the other hand, Grant, 52 and already in his third marriage, was captivated by Loren. One evening, during a quiet dinner, Grant solemnly looked at her and asked, "Will you marry me?" Loren, torn between her feelings for two men, could only respond, "I don't know." The decision was far from simple. The following day, she flew to Greece to start filming a movie. Upon arrival, she was surprised to find a bouquet of roses and a pale blue note with a message that read, "Forgive me, dear girl. I pushed you too hard. Pray for me, and I will do the same. Until next week, goodbye. Sophia, Carrie. Now, Sophia Loren faced a significant decision. Cary Grant had it all. He was much more than just a Hollywood movie star. He was charming, romantic, and deeply in love. He constantly expressed his affection through gifts, flowers, and heartfelt declarations, insisting that he wanted her to be his wife. With Grant, her dream of having a family felt within reach. However, Loren wasn't choosing between Grant and someone unworthy. Carlo Ponti loved her, supported her, and shared her Italian heritage. On top of that, Loren couldn't ignore how society viewed relationships. Both she and Grant were married when they became involved, and Loren was acutely aware of how harshly the press treated divorced women. She remembered how Ingrid Bergman had faced public outrage after divorcing her husband. Could Loren really risk enduring the same backlash for a relationship with Grant? In the end, Loren followed her heart. Carlo was Italian, she said. He belonged to my world. I know it was the right thing to do for me. Eventually, the legal challenges surrounding their marriage were resolved, and they remained happily together until Ponti's death in 2007. Cary Grant had the female lead in Houseboat rewritten specifically for Sophia Loren. However, when Loren ended their relationship, the atmosphere on set became tense and uncomfortable. Grant continued to hope that Loren would change her mind and return to him, but that never happened. In 1966, Loren and Carlo Ponti officially married, this time for good. Over time, Grant and Loren repaired their relationship and became close friends. Grant even sent his congratulations when Loren and Ponti started a family. Sophia Loren's career evolved remarkably over the years. She began as an exciting new actress, became a movie star, and by the 1980s had achieved the status of a cultural icon. She published the first of several autobiographies and adapted her life story into a biopic, in which she portrayed both herself and her mother. Loren also became the first female celebrity to launch her own perfume, further cementing her legacy. Sophia Loren's mystique remains unmatched by any other star, past or present. During the 1930s, a decade shaped by the Great Depression and the rise of cinematic escapism, Clark Gable reigned as one of Hollywood's brightest stars. His rugged charm and magnetic presence captivated audiences worldwide. Yet, behind the glamour, Gable's personal life was far more complicated, entangled in a web of secret love affairs hidden from the public eye. On the set of Gone with the Wind in 1939, a film set against the backdrop of the Civil War, Gable's off-screen life mirrored the drama of the story. While portraying Rhett Butler in a fiery romance with Scarlett O'Hara, Gable found himself caught in a clandestine affair. Surprisingly, his secret lover was not his co-star Vivien Leigh, but another celebrated actress, known for her grace and elegance, a sharp contrast to Gable's rugged image. Their meetings were shrouded in secrecy, taking place in the hidden corners of film sets and glamorous Hollywood parties as they navigated a relationship filled with both passion and risk. This affair starkly contradicted Gable's public persona as a devoted, happily married man. As rumors of the affair began to spread through studio lots, tension grew. Gable, ever the professional, continued to charm audiences on screen, but behind the scenes, he wrestled with the challenges of a love that defied societal norms. The relationship, carefully concealed, posed a threat to his reputation and the careers of everyone involved. This secret romance was just one chapter in Gable's complex personal life, which was marked by a series of hidden relationships that revealed a man as layered and intriguing off-screen as he was on it. But who was this enigmatic actress? And how did their forbidden romance play out amid the glitz and glamour of Hollywood's golden age? Exploring this untold story of Clark Gable's private life reveals a tale of passion, secrecy, and the sacrifices made for love in an era when maintaining a flawless public image often meant burying the truth behind the silver screen. Joan Crawford. passion on and off screen. The connection between Clark Gable and Joan Crawford was one of Hollywood's most electrifying partnerships, both on and off the screen. Their passionate and intense affair was an open secret in Hollywood, adding intrigue to their already glamorous reputations. They first worked together in Dance Fools, Dance in 1931, and their chemistry was immediate. Both rising stars at the time, their on-screen romance quickly spilled into real life. Their relationship was built on mutual admiration and a shared understanding of the pressures of stardom. Their affair was intense and volatile, reflecting their strong personalities. Their relationship was anything but calm, fueled by a fiery passion that was both exhilarating and tumultuous. They often met in secret, away from the public and studio executives who were determined to preserve their stars' pristine images. Despite their passion, both were pragmatic about the risks their affair posed to their careers. Crawford, in particular, was navigating a troubled marriage to Douglas Fairbanks Jr., and an open affair with Gable could have severely damaged her reputation. Over the years, their relationship endured through several films and countless stolen moments. Each project they worked on brought them closer, but the realities of their lives meant their romance could never fully flourish. The studios worked hard to suppress any scandal, but rumors still spread. Their relationship was on again, off again, continuing even as both married other people. Their final collaboration, Strange Cargo in the 1940, marked the end of their on-screen partnership and symbolized the complex and passionate bond they had shared. The relationship between Gable and Crawford highlights the complexities of Hollywood romances during the Golden Age. It was a time when public image often clashed with private realities, and the pressures of fame dictated personal choices. Despite the challenges, their affair was a testament to their undeniable connection as both actors and individuals. It remains a captivating chapter in Hollywood history, a story of passion, secrecy, and the delicate balance between public personas and private lives. Lana Turner. A turbulent affair. Lana Turner, famous for her beauty and dramatic personal life, had a passionate and complicated relationship with Clark Gable that mirrored the intensity of their on-screen roles. Their romance was one of Hollywood's well-known secret, an affair marked by both fiery passion and the challenges of their public personas. Turner and Gable first worked together in Honky Tonk in 1941, where their mutual attraction was immediate. At the time, Turner was at the height of her career, while Gable was already a Hollywood icon. Their undeniable on-screen chemistry quickly fueled rumors of a real-life romance. Their relationship was intense, full of highs and lows, driven by their strong personalities. While they shared a deep connection, their romance was anything but smooth, often punctuated by heated arguments and reconciliations. Complicating matters, both were married to other people. Turner's marriage to Artie Shaw was already strained, and her affair with Gable only added to the tension. Gable, meanwhile, was married to Carole Lombard, and his infidelity caused him significant guilt and inner conflict. Despite these challenges, Turner and Gable continued their affair for several years, often reigniting their passion while working together on film projects. However, their situation also brought constant difficulties, as the studios worked hard to keep their relationship hidden to protect their public images. Eventually, the affair ended as both stars moved on with their lives and careers. Turner's personal life remained dramatic, most notably with her involvement in the Johnny Stompanato homicide case. Gable, on the other hand, found stability later in life with his marriage to Kay Williams. Amid Gable's many scandals and affairs, his relationship with Carole Lombard stood out as a true love story. Their marriage was one of Hollywood's most celebrated romances, offering a rare glimpse of Gable's capacity for deep love and commitment. The two first met in 1932 while filming No Man of Her Own, but at the time, there was no romantic connection as both were involved with others. They reconnected in 1936 at a Hollywood party, and this time, the attraction was immediate. Lombard's vivacious personality and sharp wit captivated Gable, and their relationship quickly blossomed. Their romance faced obstacles, particularly Gable's ongoing marriage to his second wife, Rhea Langham. The divorce process was lengthy and highly publicized, but Lombard, known for her free-spirited nature, waited patiently. Their love only deepened during this time. The couple married in 1939, and their relationship was characterized by mutual respect and affection. Lombard had a profound influence on Gable, helping him relax and enjoy life beyond the pressures of Hollywood. They shared a love of hunting and the outdoors, often retreating to their ranch in Eno for privacy and tranquility. Tragically, their marriage was cut short in 1942 when Lombard died in a plane crash while on a war bonds tour. Devastated by her death, Gable enlisted in the Army Air Forces, a decision many believe was driven by his grief. Lombard's death marked a turning point in Gable's life, and he was never the same afterward. Their love story remains a striking contrast to Gable's reputation as a womanizer, revealing a man capable of profound love and loyalty. The relationship between Clark Gable and Carole Lombard endures as a testament to the power of true love in an industry often defined by fleeting romances and superficial connections. Marion Davies, a discreet connection. The relationship between Clark Gable and Marion Davies, though less publicized than his other affairs, was a discreet connection that added another layer to Gable's complex romantic history. Davies, a talented actress and renowned beauty, was known for her long-term relationship with newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst, which made her affair with Gable all the more secretive and delicate. Gable and Davies reportedly met at the lavish parties hosted by Hearst at San Simeon, his grand estate. These gatherings were legendary, attended by Hollywood's elite, and provided the perfect backdrop for discreet liaisons. Gable, charmed by Davies's wit and vivacity, found in her a kindred spirit, someone who understood the pressures and temptations of Hollywood life. Their affair was carefully concealed, as both were acutely aware of the potential repercussions. Hearst, a powerful figure in the industry, was fiercely protective of Davies, and any hint of infidelity could have had serious consequences for all involved. The relationship was thus kept out of the public eye, with meetings arranged in secret and with utmost caution. Despite the need for secrecy, those within certain Hollywood circles were aware of the affair. It was one of many open secrets in an industry where personal lives were often as scripted and managed as the films themselves. However, the respect and affection between Gable and Davies were evident to those who knew them, even if it had to be hidden from the wider world. The affair eventually ended as both Gable and Davies moved on with their lives. Gable continued his string of high-profile relationships and marriages, while Davies remained with Hearst until his death. The relationship with Gable, though a brief chapter in her life, was a testament to Davies's complexity as a woman who navigated the intricate web of Hollywood relationships with grace and discretion. The connection between Clark Gable and Marion Davies is a lesser-known but intriguing aspect of Hollywood's romantic history. It highlights the hidden dynamics of relationships in an era where image and reputation were paramount, and where love often had to find its way through the shadows of public scrutiny. Grace Kelly, a royal romance. The brief but notable connection between Clark Gable and Grace Kelly during the filming of Mogambo in 1953 was a relationship that caught the attention of both their peers and the media. Kelly, with her ethereal beauty and poised demeanor, was at the beginning of her meteoric rise in Hollywood, while Gable was an established star, the epitome of masculine charm. Set against the backdrop of the African safari, Mogambo provided the perfect setting for romance to blossom. Gable and Kelly's on-screen chemistry was palpable, and rumors quickly began to circulate about a real-life romance. Their attraction was a blend of Gable's rugged charm and Kelly's serene elegancy, creating a dynamic that was both captivating and complex. The affair, though brief, was intense. Gable was drawn to Kelly's grace and sophistication, qualities that contrasted with his more rugged persona. For Kelly, Gable represented the quintessential Hollywood leading man, charismatic and worldly. Their romance, however, was not without its complications. Gable was married at the time, and Kelly was acutely aware of the importance of maintaining her pristine image. The relationship was discreet, with both stars understanding the implications of a public affair. They shared stolen moments away from the prying eyes of the press, but the romance was short-lived. The end of the film's production marked the end of their affair, with both returning to their respective lives and careers. Kelly's life took a dramatic turn when she left Hollywood to become Princess of Monaco, marrying Prince Rainier III. Gable, meanwhile, continued his career in Hollywood, his affair with Kelly becoming a whispered chapter in his storied life. The relationship between Clark Gable and Grace Kelly is a fascinating glimpse into the complexities of Hollywood romances. It was a connection that transcended the usual Hollywood affair, marked by a mutual respect and a shared understanding of the delicate balance between public image and private desire. Clark Gable and Sylvia Ashley. Clark Gable's marriage to Sylvia Ashley, a British model and socialite who had previously been a duchess through her marriage to Douglas Fairbanks, was a union that brought him into the world of British nobility, but was fraught with challenges and differences. This chapter in Gable's life marked a departure from his usual Hollywood romances, offering a glimpse into his desire for stability and companionship in his later years. Ashley, known for her elegancy and sophistication, was a stark contrast to the women Gable had previously been involved with. Their relationship began in the wake of personal tragedies for both. Gable was grieving the loss of his third wife, Carol Lombard, while Ashley had recently divorced Fairbanks. They found solace in each other's company, and their marriage in 1949 was seen as a fresh start for both. However, the marriage soon faced difficulties. Gable, a quintessential Hollywood star, was rooted in the glitz and glamour of American cinema, while Ashley was accustomed to the aristocratic lifestyle of British high society. These differing worlds and lifestyles led to clashes and misunderstandings. Ashley's penchant for high society and luxury was at odds with Gable's more down-to-earth personality. The couple's public appearances often portrayed a facade of marital bliss, but behind closed doors, the reality was different. Their union was marked by increasing tension and disagreements over lifestyle choices and priorities. Gable's career in Hollywood continued to demand his attention, while Ashley's social engagements pulled her in different directions. Their marriage, which lasted until 1952, ultimately ended in divorce. The relationship with Sylvia Ashley was a chapter in Gable's life that highlighted his search for companionship and a sense of normalcy away from the Hollywood spotlight. However, it also underscored the challenges of merging two very different worlds and the complexities of finding love later in life. Kay Williams, the final chapter. Clark Gable's fifth and final marriage to Kay Williams, a former actress and model, represented a stabilizing force in the later years of his life, after a series of high-profile relationships and marriages. Gable's union with Williams was seen as a return to a more grounded and tranquil existence, away from the tumultuous romantic escapades of his past. Williams and Gable's relationship began in a Hollywood that was changing rapidly. Gable, once the undisputed king of Hollywood, was facing the challenges of an industry that was evolving and a new generation of actors rising to prominence. Williams, with her understanding and supportive nature, provided Gable with a sense of comfort and normalcy. Their marriage in 1955 was a low-key affair, reflecting their desire for a more private life. Williams was aware of Gable's history and the pressures of being married to one of Hollywood's most iconic figures. She navigated this role with grace, providing a stable home life and becoming a trusted confidant and partner to Gable. The couple's life together was marked by a shared love of the outdoors and a simpler lifestyle, far removed from the glamour and intensity of Gable's earlier years in the spotlight. They enjoyed quiet times at their ranch, a stark contrast to the lavish Hollywood parties and premieres that had once been a staple of Gable's life. In 1960, Williams and Gable were overjoyed to discover they were expecting a child. However, their happiness was short-lived. Gable suffered a severe heart attack and passed away just months before the birth of their son, John Clark Gable. Williams was left to navigate the challenges of widow and single motherhood, all while dealing with the immense legacy of her late husband. Clark Gable's marriage to Kay Williams was a final chapter that brought him peace and contentment, a stark contrast to the earlier, more turbulent years of his life. Their relationship was a testament to the power of love and companionship in providing stability and happiness, even amid the ever-changing landscape of Hollywood. The story of Gable and Williams is a poignant reminder of the personal journeys and transformations that can occur over a lifetime, especially for those living in the public eye. It was a chapter that closed the book on the romantic escapades of one of cinema's most legendary figures, offering a glimpse into a more serene and contented side of Clark Gable's life.